have a lot of thoughts about cancel culture, and most of them aren't great. Do I believe in deplatforming dangerous people who might use those platforms to cause further harm? Trump? Yes, sure. But in this age of social media, where every word that comes out of our digital mouths can be screenshot and held up for the world to see, it feels like we've reached a place where people are sometimes reduced to their worst moments, shamed for them, and then silenced, which just how can that possibly be the best course of action? The other day on The View, moderator Whoopi Goldberg made some decidedly ill-informed statements about the Holocaust. Take a listen.
It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man.
So people were understandably upset. Unfortunately, she only made matters worse when she later appeared on Stephen Colbert's talk show and basically just reiterated her position.
As a black person, I think of race as being something that I can see. So I see you and I know what race you are.
Okay, to clear this up, the Holocaust was 1,000% about race. Hitler and the Third Reich believed that the Aryan race, them, was genetically superior, and they engaged on this massive campaign to dehumanize and systematically annihilate Jews because they believed they were a parasitic lower race, subhuman. Now, even though Whoopi was objectively wrong on this point, I get where she was coming from. In today's America, we think of race very differently. We think of it in terms of people of color, primarily. But in Hitler's Germany, and among white nationalists even today, Jews were very much seen not only in terms of their religion, but also in terms of their race. And over the years, over centuries, they've been marginalized and slaughtered for this very reason. So Whoopi was wrong and she was misinformed. But she was coming at this issue based on her own lived experience that had formed her own perspective. So here's what she did next. She went on The View after having listened to the CEO of the Anti-Defamation League explain what I just explained about the Holocaust and race, and she apologized. I regret my comments, and I stand corrected. To me, this is the best possible outcome. Someone is misinformed, they educate themselves, and then in the case of Whoopi Goldberg, who has this staggeringly large platform, there's the potential to use that platform to then start a national conversation and educate others. That's the goal. Except then, Kim Godwin, who is the president of ABC News, she suspended Goldberg for 2 weeks so that she could, quote, take time to reflect and learn about the impact of her comments. Now, this sits poorly with me for a number of reasons. First among them, the fact that it sounds like, go sit in the corner and think about what you did, But the entire premise of The View, at least when it was conceived of, is that there's these women with different perspectives and different opinions, and they go and they discuss the relevant topics and they argue about them, and presumably we all learn something. Sometimes they're the educators, and sometimes they're the people being educated. That's the point of the show. None of these women's job is predicated on always being right. But more importantly, if Whoopi Goldberg held these beliefs about Jewish people, think of this. Jewish people comprise only about 2.4% of the American population. There are a lot of people out there who have very little or no experience with the Jewish religion or culture. So there are likely many, many more out there who have similar beliefs to Goldberg. All that suspending Whoopi Goldberg does is shut down a conversation that's taken on even more urgency given the rash of anti-Semitic incidents happening all over the US. What does a public shaming achieve that couldn't be better achieved by having Whoopi Goldberg stay on The View, express her previous beliefs and why she believed them, and what she has since learned? Why do we choose to cancel when we could instead counsel? It's a question we should all ask ourselves.